All right. So, welcome to the session. I think this is our eighth session on this book. So, we had done up to page 43 in my edition. I have the second edition. We had done up to Sutra number 17. Now, on to Sutra number 18. Now, here again, Master is, going on a different, shall we say, track. Yeah. In his, you remember, this is a book which contains a compilation of which is master's thesis. So all his spiritual findings have been compiled here. The inner sound is continuously used in the process of creation. Therefore, creation is a continuous process. In some religious text, this sound is called the word. So in earlier sutras, we were talking about, how creation is ongoing and evolutionary and so on. Now, Master is talking about the actual process of creation. So he tells us that this creation is a continuous process and there is an inner sound that is used. Now, why do we say inner sound? Because it is not a physical sound that our ears will hear. You know, we can sometimes call it the Om, but the Om, is what we speak. But the real meaning of the word Om, okay, we'll talk about that as we go. Now, important point here: creation is a continuous process. This is something that Master has talked about in the last two sutras also. Now, this is I talked about it. I'm very excited about this because I've been reading this line for long time, I think 20 years or so. But now science has come out with a theory which is substantiating this, जो इसको support कर रही है. Because earlier the science view was that there was a single Big Bang which led to this entire creation. And now this new theory is coming that it is not a single Big Bang, but multiple, and it is continuous, ongoing. Multiple are there and it is ongoing. Okay, so what Master is basically telling us is the sound of the word or the sound is being used, and that is what is causing creation, and it is an inner sound, and this is an ongoing, continuous process. Further, let's read. The sound or the word is used as a mass noun. Creation implies differentiation. Therefore, there are many sounds or words that are continuously used in the process of creation. Now, when Master says mass noun, what he means is that it is not for just one thing, but it includes many things. Like you will say phone and or something. You will say finger and then you will say fingers. But here he is not using sounds. He is saying this when I say sound, it means many sounds. The other point that Master is giving us to think about is differentiation. He says creation implies differentiation. मतलब creation होगा तो differentiation होगा ही. Now just think about it. Supposing this entire universe was one single homogeneous thing. थिंग है मतलब क्रिएशन तो हुआ है लेकिन उसमें अगर कोई डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं होता एवरीथिंग वाज द सेम then it really is not creation because what is created when you say create something different has to come. Think about it. It's something to contemplate. Imagine the world as just being a single thing. It is because there is differentiation that we are able to observe that yes, there is a creation. For example, think about clay. You think of clay as either dust or as that molten जो melt जो solution बनाते हैं. Have you seen a potter? So potter sits. Now there is the clay as a dust, and then he puts water or whatever he adds, and it becomes a liquid. Now think of the dust. It is a single thing. You think of the liquid, it is a single thing. But when he creates, then it takes different shapes. Yeah. And that is what we notice in the creation of God. When we look at the world, when we look at nature, we see so much differentiation, or the word we normally use is diversity. So many types of minerals, so many types of soils, so many types of plants, so many types of insects, so many types of birds, animals. Even in human beings, there is so much diversity. There are whatever, 9, 10 people, 12 of us right now. If all of us were to put our pictures here, we will see that no two of us look similar. Each of us has differentiation. There is so much diversity, there is so much variety. And the other thing that Master is talking about is that it's not a single sound, because to generate the diversity, many sounds are used. And I remember reading this in some other texts also, which I can't recall right now, but they were saying that there are different mantras. We are aware there are so many mantras. Each mantra, so Om is the root mantra. The entire creation represented in one sound or one syllable or one phoneme. I forget what the technically correct word is, but one sound. Now, when you look at the different mantras, they are all derived from the Om. They represent different aspects, different elements, of the creation. Look, what I'm trying to tell you is my understanding. You're not required to accept it. You can challenge it, of course. You can question it, but more important, let it just give you some what should I say, seed material, so that you do your own thinking. आप अपनी खुद सोच इस पे जोड़िए, है ना? इसको और सोचिए, इसको आगे लेके जाइए. And if possible, where you take it forward, please do share it. Okay, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. So this is, I think, a reference to one of the books of the Bible, the Holy Bible. So in the beginning was the Word. So beginning of what? Beginning of creation, where the unmanifest became the manifest. Now the word, the sound, was with God. Now this is the unmanifest God. And the word was God. And because when God uses the word to, you see, you think about it, we take this entire creation around us for granted. Now, जरा सोचिए कि जब ये कुछ भी नहीं था, when there was no creation, then what was there? Something must have been there, correct? Or what was there? But if something was there, then creation was already there. No? So, anyway, in the Rig Ved, there is a shloka. There is a shlok. I think it is called the Nasadiya Sutra or Nasadiya Shlok, which talks about this very beautifully. Maybe we'll do a separate session just to talk about that. So that describes the state before creation. But now we are talking about the process of creation. The unmanifest God is now expressing himself as creation, or putting himself, or bringing out, or is creating the universe and using the sound. So the what this thing from the Bible is trying to explain to us is that in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. Meaning, now if this is the beginning of creation, then there is nothing before that except God. So the word comes from God. That means God is the creator, and the word is God. Now, this is where a little bit of intuition comes into play. It is difficult to explain this, in a purely intellectual manner. Think about it. Think about it. And let me put up this slide. See if this sort of helps, because this is I've shown. I think we've talked about this slide earlier also. This is showing, the sound, and this is according to Theosophy. This, by the way, this diagram is from the book in Theosophy called The Causal Body. Causal Body. It's, there's a series of books by Arthur Powell, and this portion here is from that. And, this is represented in the Indian culture by the image of Nataraj. Where this is trying to show that this is the unmanifest state, and then this is the beginning. A dot appears, and then the vibration begins, and then what we call the Big Bang, or the actual creation happens, and this pure matter, or what we can call God the Mother, is impregnated by God the Father, which are both aspects of the unmanifest Brahman, and so on. I think it gets a little. Let's just stick to what Master has told us. In the beginning was Brahman. I'm just reading forward now. In the beginning was Brahman, with whom was the Word. And the Word was truly the supreme Brahman. This is from the Rig Veda. Again, sort of the same thing that the Bible says. This is another very valuable thing that Master Choa has taught us, which is that all religions, if you get to their core knowledge, they are saying the same thing. Unfortunately, we only look at their extremes, extremes, the rituals, the symbols, and so on, and then we see the differences. But if you look at, the core foundational knowledge, apparently there is a lot of similarity, and that is what Master has tried to explain to us. Okay, so coming back to this. Now, when Master says Brahman, it is, normally we think of the Trinity, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. Now, Brahman and Brahma, different, not the same. When we say Brahma, we are talking about the divine light aspect of Supreme God. Brahman, when we say this, we are talking about the unmanifest Supreme God. The one who used the Om to manifest, to create the universe. So in the Indian system, they like to say that Om is Brahman, or Brahman is Om. Not Om is not a symbol or a representation of God, of a Brahman, but is Brahman. So they also use the term Pranava for Om. So it is divine, it is Brahman. I would suggest you a slightly related area of study, है ना. ये कोई बहुत अच्छी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है जो आप अगर कोशिश कर चाहें तो इसके बारे में पढ़िएगा. In the Indian system, we come across many different names for God. There is Brahman. Brahman हम देख रहे हैं अभी यहाँ पे. Have you heard the term Ishwar? Yeah, Ishwar, Bhagwan. There are terms like Narayan, Hari. So many different names for God. Are they exactly the same, or are they different? It may not be directly related to your spiritual practices and so on, but I think it's an interesting thing to study. इसके बारे में आप पढ़ के देखिए कि क्या differences हैं. And for that, I would suggest go down to the root meaning in Sanskrit. Most of these terms are originating from Sanskrit. तो संस्कृत में आप देखिए कि इनकी इनकी जड़ क्या है, इनकी रूट क्या है. शब्दार्थ, word meaning. Try to start with the word meaning and then see what it is used commonly, how it is used commonly, what does it mean. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. Sutra number 19. Principle of energy transformer. The world consists of a series of energy transformers. The planet Earth is an energy transformer. The sun is an energy transformer. The constellation and galaxy are energy transformers. Our universe is a spiritual energy transformer, and a maxi universe is an energy transformer. A maxi universe consists probably of billions of universes. Okay, interesting. So, do you understand what a transformer is? In the electrical system that supplies our houses, our offices with electricity, there are a series of transformers. Sometimes there is a step down transformer. Like outside your house, or the transformer closest to your house will most likely be a step down transformer. What is it stepping down? उसके अंदर जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आती है दैट इज ऑफ हायर वोल्टेज, उसकी आउटपुट इज अ लोअर वोल्टेज. Correct? So it is stepping down the electrical voltage or the voltage of the electricity. And there are step up transformers. Typically, have you seen on near highways or outside towns, where you see these electrical towers and cables running for miles and miles. तो उनके ऊपर to minimize transmission losses, they will step up the voltage. You can sometimes read 11 kilovolt or 22 kilo or something like that. I don't know, 22 kilovolt hota hai, 2200 to hota hai, 11 maybe. 11 kilovolt is there. I think 22 kV is also there. Anyway, so they really step it up to minimize transmission losses. Now, what Master is telling us, you see, again, interesting how Master uses advancements in science and technology to help us understand spiritual teachings, spiritual knowledge. So he's used this example. Yeah, actually, in the before transformers were there, this knowledge was still there. So they would use the term veil, VEIL. Veil का क्या मतलब है? It's like a पर्दा, या in हिंदी में बोलेंगे तो पर्दा, या जैसे you take a chunni and you put it in front of your eyes. So supposing you are going out in the hot sun, it's too bright. You want to reduce the heat and the light coming down. So you use a veil. You will use something to cut down the light. So they were. I mean, so you use a veil to dim the light, for example. Veil. Have you heard VEIL? Veil शब्द सुना है आपने? Anyway, look it up if you've not heard of it. What will be the word in India? हिंदी में क्या बोलेंगे उसको? जो पर्दा पर्दा करते हैं ना, पर्दा. So it's like a covering which will reduce the, outside is bright light, on the other side will be lighter light. Ghungat, yes, you can say ghungat. Very good. So anyway, now of course, with transformer, when Master says transformer, we exactly understand what he is talking about. Now, those are electrical transformers. What about energy transformers? So, energy transformer is something that will step up energy or step down. Step up meaning when we talk about electricity, we are saying voltage. What about energy? So, the vibration can become more refined, more subtle, or higher vibrations, or there can be grosser, lower vibrations. So take higher vibrations, bring it down to lower, or take low vibrations, step it up to higher, more subtle vibrations. So, even in our bodies, or if you are aware, from the crown chakra, energy is stepped down as you go down the body. And similarly, ground prana is taken and it is stepped up, made more refined, and taken to the crown. I hope you are aware of that, because I think Master has talked about it even in the basic pranic healing book. And many of his books he's talked about. So, like the electrical grid, it takes electricity from the power source, the power generator, and then distributes to other transformers, distributes to consumers like us. Similarly, in our case, for spiritual energy, the source is what? The source is Supreme God or Brahman. Now, each planet, each star, each galaxy, each universe, according to Master Choa, accepts that energy, steps it down, and distributes within its region of control. Why does it need to do that? Because in each planet or the region of each planet or star, there are different entities, and their ability to handle very high vibrations is not there. Even us, what to say, we cannot handle very high vibrations or very high degree, whether very subtle vibrations. We have a limitation. So that is why the need for stepping down, stepping up, and so on. And this is this concept of energy transformers, is very unique to Master Choa. I've never heard any other guru talk about this. And no surprise, he's a master of energy, and we are lucky because what he's done is that he's understood all this and he's given it, stepped it down. That is the role of a guru. He takes very high, very esoteric, very difficult to perceive, difficult to understand that sort of knowledge, and steps it down, gives us a map. We keep talking about it. This book is like he's explaining a map of the inner world, of the spiritual world. As we will practice, as we will, go around in the inner world, we will be able to see landmarks. We will be able to understand. We will not be surprised. We will not be confused. Now, the next sutra is kind of long. I think we can stop here and take it up the next time.